The cameras flashed, the crowd froze, and in a sea of diamonds and just desperate attention, one star chose to hide her most valuable possession right in her pocket. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
Welcome to Starscope Report.
Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
Absolutely.
So today, we are bringing you a deep dive into a viral mystery that just completely hijacked the 2026 Met Gala. I mean, we are unpacking the story of Zoë Kravitz, Harry Styles, an unseen engagement ring, and the massive ripples it sent through, well, the entire entertainment world.
Yeah, and this isn't just a story about a piece of jewelry.
Right.
It's really this fascinating case study in our media strategy. We are looking at a situation where the deliberate, calculated absence of something generated vastly more headlines than the most extravagant displays of wealth in that entire room.
I am so ready to get into this because the setting alone is just spectacular. Let's set the scene for anyone who somehow missed the chaos. It's the 78th Met Gala, May 2026. The theme is costume art, and the dress code is fashion is art.
Right, which is a big directive.
Oh, massive. And when the Met says art, they mean treating the human body as a literal canvas. So you have billionaires, you have actors, pop stars, all showing up dripping in absolute fortunes.
And to really understand the contrast of what Zoe did, you have to understand what everyone else was doing. I mean, the entire night was defined by these overt, body-conscious displays of precious stones.
Just blinding amounts of jewelry.
Exactly. You had Suda Reddy wearing the Queen of Marilani. And for context, that is a breathtaking 550-carat deep violet blue tanzanite.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and she paired it with the 23-carat yellow diamond ring.
Okay, just pause for a second. 550 carat.
It's massive.
That is practically a paperweight attached to your neck. Like, that is wearing the GDP of a small island nation.
Yeah, literally. And then you had Sabrina Carpenter. She was draped in these massive chopard diamonds. Beyoncé was in this diamond-studded suite alongside that crazy skeleton gown. Everyone was giving the cameras exactly what they wanted. Maximalism.
Completely. And then, well, here comes Zoë Kravitz.
Yes.
She steps out in this custom Saint Laurent gown by Anthony Vaccarello, and it is this gothic, figure-hugging, completely unlined, black lace dream of a dress.
It was so gorgeous.
So gorgeous. But the key architectural detail here is what's called a basque waist.
Okay, wait, for those of us who aren't couture designers, what actually is a basque waist and why does it matter here?
Sure. So a basque waist is a style that drops below the natural waistline. It usually forms a V shape or a U shape over the hips.
Oh, yeah, got it.
Yeah, and in this specific Saint Laurent dress that dropped, sculptural gathering of fabric essentially created a natural hidden pocket.
Wow.
And Zoe spent the entire night using that structural detail to conspicuously, deliberately hide her left hand. The footage is just wild to watch because even during a red carpet interview with Gayle King, they're talking and the camera pans down and her left hand is entirely tucked away.
Just gone.
Gone. And when she walked with the designer, because Harry Styles actually skipped the event, she either wore a black lace glove on that hand or kept it completely shielded in the folds of the skirt.
It was a highly, highly intentional choice.
Okay. But I have to push back on this, though.
Sure.
If she didn't want the ring to be seen, why wear it at all?
Well,
I mean, isn't it just a bit pretentious to show up to the biggest, most heavily photographed fashion event in the world and then deliberately act cagey? It's like holding the winning lottery ticket but refusing to cash it in front of the cameras.
yeah.
Why show up to an event where the theme is literally treating the body as a canvas only to hide your most talked about accessory? Why not just leave it in a hotel safe?
See, that is the brilliant part of her strategy.
Really?
Yeah, because if she leaves the ring at home, there's no story. Maybe you get a quick blog post asking, where is the ring?
Okay.
But by wearing it and conspicuously hiding it, she leverages what media psychologists call the curiosity gap.
Oh, the curiosity gap.
Right. It's the space between what we know and what we really want to know. By denying the paparazzi the specific high-resolution money shot they wanted, she forced the media to talk about the absence of the photo. She weaponized their curiosity.
Okay, that makes total sense. So she kept herself in the news cycle without actually giving away her privacy.
Exactly.
But here is the thing. Jewelry experts still managed to figure out what she was hiding, didn't they?
Oh, they always do. According to experts at Laurel Diamonds and Audrey Rose, based on some blurry sightings from London weeks prior, We are looking at a piece estimated at over $500,000.
$500,000.
Yeah, and it's likely a 7 to 10 carat elongated cushion-cut diamond, and it's set in yellow gold with a smooth bezel setting.
Let's break that down for a second. An elongated cushion cut.
So imagine a rectangle with softly rounded corners, right? Resembling a pillow, hence cushion. It's brilliant and incredibly elegant, and the bezel setting means there are no prongs holding the diamond in place.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, instead, a thin band of solid yellow gold entirely wraps around the rim of the stone. So it's very secure, very sleek, and it's very modern.
So basically a $500,000 pillow of diamond wrapped in gold, and she's just casually burying it in black lace.
Pretty much. But here's the most intriguing detail.
What's that?
The shape of the stone is incredibly similar in size and cut to the engagement ring she previously wore from her ex-fiancé, Channing Tatum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Harry's ring has a slightly softer, less elongated shape, but the similarity is striking. It signals that she knows exactly what diamond proportions suit her hand, but it also inevitably draws comparisons to her past.
Which is such a fascinating bridge because the setting where all of this played out was entirely untraditional to begin with. I mean, the Met Gala organizers completely flipped the script this year.
They really did.
Yeah.
If we look at the broader context of the 2026 gala, there wasn't actually a red carpet at all.
Right, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, Raul Avila and Baz Luhrmann designed this ethereal Italian garden pathway. There were beige tones, patches of green moss, real wisteria everywhere, and all these trompe-l'oeil elements.
Wait, trompe-l'oeil, that's the artistic technique that uses realistic imagery to create an optical illusion, right? Like making a flat surface look three-dimensional.
Exactly. It tricks the eye. So the entire environment was designed to blur the line between reality and fantasy.
Wow.
You have Zoë Kravitz in gothic black lace walking through a literal enchanted forest with optical illusions, guarding a $500,000 secret in her pocket.
It is just pure cinema. But, while the internet was obsessing over what Zoe wasn't showing, her famous ex-fiancé was showing a little too much emotion online. Wait till you hear what came next.
And hey, if you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
Yes. So we move from Zoe executing this absolute masterclass in controlling her narrative to what can only be described as a complete loss of control on social media. I mean, Channing Tatum officially entered his emo era on Instagram, and the contrast just couldn't be sharper.
It really couldn't. And to understand why his reaction felt so heavy, we need to quickly map out the timeline here.
Yeah, let's do that.
So Zoe and Channing met back in 2021 on the set of her directorial debut, Blink Twice. The romance was very public.
Super public.
Yeah, they were photographed riding motorbikes through the city, and by October 2023, they were officially engaged.
I remember her dad, Lenny Kravitz, was even on the radio talking about a wedding plan for the following year. Like, they were moving fast.
They were. But just a year after the engagement, in October 2024, they called it off. Reports stated they simply weren't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
So now, flash forward about 18 months post-split, Zoe is engaged to Harry Styles. And Channing, who is 46, has moved on as well. He's been dating 26-year-old model Inka Williams since early 2025.
Right. Okay. So theoretically, the dust has settled. Both parties have new partners. They're moving on. But then the Harry Styles engagement news drops.
Yeah.
And right as the world is going crazy over Zoe's Met Gala mystery, Channing logs onto Instagram. And this is where I need us to really dissect what happened, because this felt like the celebrity equivalent of accidentally hitting reply all on an emotional late-night company email.
That is the perfect way to describe it. Because the sequence of posts he shared on his Instagram stories was incredibly specific, especially given the timing of his ex's global trending moment.
It was a full-blown cryptic crash out.
It really was.
Okay, so first, he posts a poem by a writer named John Rodel. He tags the writer, types the word read on the screen, and sets the whole thing to actual choir music, like a song called Faith's Hymn by the Beautiful Chorus.
Right.
Let me just read you the exact quote he posted. "My brain and heart divorced a decade ago over who was to blame about how big of a mess I have become. Eventually, they couldn't be in the same room with each other."
I mean, the imagery of a divorced heart and brain paired with the sorrowful choir music, it's just a profound display of vulnerability. And of course, the internet immediately connected his reflection on a divided heart to the news of Zoe's new engagement.
Oh, of course they did. But he didn't stop there.
I know, he didn't.
Post number 2, a video of a seal floating in the water. And the caption reads, The level I'm at of letting go and trusting in the flow of the universe.
A literal visual representation of surrender.
Literally. And then followed by post number 3, an image of a female fighter with a heavily bruised and bloody face.
Wow.
Yeah. And the quote attached to that was, "Didn't go the way I wanted. I enjoyed the whole process. I'm still happy that I went all 5 rounds. I'm feeling amazing. Just so happy to be here."
Now, looking at this objectively, how do we interpret this? I mean, is this just harmless processing or a massive PR misstep?
I mean, the fans were brutal. The comments online were this crazy mix of hilarious and heartbreaking. People were saying crashing out on an IG story, celebrities, they're just like us, or, Channing Tatum sliding down the wall right now.
Oh,
Someone just wrote, "Bro needs a hug and a beer." But if you're listening to this, you've probably been guilty of posting a vague, sad lyric on your own story after a breakup.
oh, definitely.
We've all been there. But imagine doing it when your ex is trending globally with a pop star. Why do celebrities do this when they have publicists on speed dial?
It's a great question, and I think it speaks to the really complicated nature of parasocial relationships. Celebrities often use social media to bypass traditional PR entirely and seek direct emotional validation from their fans.
Oh, that's true. Just going straight to the source.
Exactly. And sources close to the situation told Page Six that Channing was indeed caught off guard by the reports of her engagement to Harry. It was very sudden.
I bet.
However, those same sources insist he didn't dwell on it, stating explicitly, if Zoe is happy, he's happy for her.
Which is a very mature PR line.
It is a very polished line, but it's also worth noting where his career is at right now.
Right.
He recently talked about filming his 2025 movie Roofman, where he experienced what he called his worst nightmare, having to film full nude scenes without a thong. He's currently in a space both professionally and personally, where he is completely baring himself to the world.
Oh, wow. That is such an incredible contrast. I mean, Zoe is literally constructing a fortress out of a custom Saint Laurent basque waist to avoid giving the public a single breadcrumb about her personal life.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, Channing is metaphorically and literally entirely exposed, posting poetry about his messy heart.
It perfectly illustrates 2 entirely different survival mechanisms for dealing with the intense scrutiny of fame.
It really does, and that's not even the wildest part. Later in this deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming for Harry and Zoe's future.
So stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next.
Because the reason Zoe is building that fortress at the Met Gala goes far beyond just protecting a piece of jewelry. When you actually look at the mechanics of what she and Harry are planning, hiding the ring makes perfect sense. They are protecting something much bigger.
Exactly. The narrative shifts from holding onto the past to rapidly accelerating into the future. Because Harry Styles and Zoë Kravitz aren't just planning one wedding, they're reportedly eyeing 2, and they are rushing for a baby.
Rushing is definitely the right word. Let's remind everyone of the timeline here. They have only been dating for 8 months.
It is a remarkable acceleration. They were first linked in August 2025 after being spotted kissing in a restaurant in Rome.
Right.
And then sharing some public affection in London. Now, barely 8 months later, they're fully engaged and mapping out a highly complex transatlantic future.
So Harry actually skipped the Met Gala this year, which is why she walked the carpet with her designer. He was busy with rehearsals for his Together tour. But behind the scenes, the wedding planning is apparently in full swing. And they aren't settling for just one ceremony.
No, they are not. According to sources speaking to Page Six, the possibility of 2 ceremonies is very high. And logistically, this actually makes a lot of sense for 2 massive international stars.
It does.
The plan would feature one wedding in London to accommodate Harry's inner circle and his British roots, and a second one in downtown New York.
And that New York wedding has a very specific VIP guest in mind, Lenny Kravitz.
Precisely. The source noted that Zoe would definitely want to do something in New York because of her father. There are rumors it could be held at the Fouquet's Hotel in downtown Manhattan, which is a luxury spot he frequents.
This brings up such a fascinating dynamic about celebrity families. Zoe is fiercely independent. She's going to date whoever she wants.
Of course.
But the insiders made it very clear, if the guy doesn't vibe with Lenny Kravitz, eventually they are going to fall to the side. He is the ultimate rock star gatekeeper.
He really is. And apparently, Harry passed that gatekeeper test with flying colors.
Naturally.
Yeah, the reports state that Harry hit it off with the rock legend after Zoe arranged a meeting, and that, obviously, Lenny loves Harry.
I mean, he's Harry Styles. How could you not? But it's not just double weddings on the brain. The sources are saying that Harry is absolutely dead set on having a child. His friends are convinced a mini Harry is on the way soon.
This aligns perfectly with the psychological shift Harry seems to have undergone recently. During his career hiatus in 2024, his sister Gemma welcomed a baby girl,
Right.
and Harry stepped in heavily to help with babysitting duties. Going from selling out massive global stadium tours to changing diapers is a profound grounding experience.
I can't even imagine that whiplash.
He gave a very telling interview to The Times where he reflected on that exact period. He said that getting to know his niece as she grew up made it so obvious to me what's real. It was really obvious that was where I wanted to be.
Wow, that quote right there is the skeleton key to this entire story. When you are planning transatlantic double weddings at a luxury Manhattan hotel and you are having deep conversations about babies after only 8 months of dating, you are treating this relationship as the most real thing in your life.
Exactly.
So you don't want the narrative on fashion's biggest night to be hijacked by a piece of jewelry. Think about it like a corporate sock launch. A company doesn't drop its biggest product when everyone is distracted by a trade show. They control the release.
That's a great analogy.
Zoe was protecting the reality of her life from the absolute circus of the paparazzi economy. She shared the engagement news with a very small, trusted circle. She showed the ring off privately to friends. But when she stepped onto that beige and green moss carpet, she drew a firm, uncrossable line in the sand.
And we could take a step back and look at the entire narrative we've explored today. From the $500,000 diamond hidden in black lace, to Channing Tatum's emotional poetry on social media, to the quiet planning of a domestic life in London and New York, it really paints a vivid picture of what it actually costs to be famous today.
It really does. It leaves you with this lingering thought to chew on. We live in an era where celebrities monetize absolutely every second of their private lives.
Everything.
They show us their morning skincare routines, they give us tours of their refrigerators, and as we saw today, they even broadcast their messy breakups complete with choir music.
The access feels completely limitless.
It does. But because the access is limitless, true power and true luxury in Hollywood is no longer defined by what you can buy or what you can show off. It is defined by what you refuse to show. Zoë Kravitz proved that a bare hand, hidden in a simple lace pocket, can generate more headlines, more curiosity, and more sheer power than a 550-carat diamond.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.